Hello, dear friends, and welcome back to Felt Stories of Faith. Today, I want to share with you a powerful fable about trust, one that will remind us all of the importance of placing our faith in God's plan, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. This is the story of a merchant named Elias, a man who thought he could control everything in his life until God taught him the most valuable lesson of all. In a bustling town nestled between mountains and sea, there lived a successful merchant named Elias. He was known throughout the land for his sharp mind and careful planning. Every transaction was calculated, every risk was measured, and every coin was counted twice. Elias had built his fortune through years of hard work and meticulous attention to detail. He trusted in his own wisdom, his own strength, and his own ability to see what lay ahead. A man who controls his circumstances controls his destiny, he would often say. One day, Elias received word of an incredible opportunity. A distant kingdom across the sea was seeking rare spices and fabrics, and they were willing to pay 10 times the normal price. This was the chance of a lifetime, the deal that could make Elias the wealthiest merchant in all the land. Elias immediately began planning. He would load his largest ship with his finest goods, sail across the sea, and return with enough gold to secure his family's future for generations. He calculated every detail, every possibility, every outcome. In his mind, success was certain. But there was one voice that gave him pause. An old sailor named Tobias, a man known for his deep faith, came to Elias with a warning. "Master Elias," he said gently, "I've sailed these waters for 40 years. The season is changing, and storms are coming. Perhaps we should wait, pray, and seek God's timing." Elias smiled dismissively. "Tobias, I appreciate your concern, but I've checked the weather patterns, consulted the best navigators, and calculated the risks. We sail at dawn. God helps those who help themselves, doesn't he?" Tobias bowed his head. "God helps those who trust him, Master Elias. There's a difference between wisdom and self-reliance." But Elias had already made up his mind. He had planned everything perfectly. What could possibly go wrong? The ship set sail on a bright morning, loaded with precious cargo. For the first 3 days, the journey was smooth. The winds were favorable, the seas were calm, and Elias stood at the bow of his ship, proud of his decision. "See," he told Tobias, "sometimes faith means having faith in yourself." But on the 4th day, the sky began to darken. Clouds rolled in like mountains of ash, and the wind began to howl. Tobias recognized the signs immediately. "Master Elias, we must turn back. This is the storm I warned you about." Elias, however, refused to turn around. He had come too far. He had invested too much. "We push forward," he commanded. "We can outrun it." The storm hit with devastating force. Waves as tall as buildings crashed against the ship. Thunder roared like the voice of heaven itself. The carefully secured cargo began to shift and break loose. Sailors cried out in terror as the ship was tossed like a toy in a child's bath. Elias gripped the railing, his knuckles white with fear. All his calculations, all his planning, all his confidence meant nothing against the raw power of the storm. He had trusted in his own understanding, and now that understanding was worthless. In the chaos, Tobias made his way to Elias. Rain poured down their faces as the old sailor shouted above the wind, "Master Elias, we must lighten the ship. We must throw the cargo overboard, or we'll all perish." "No," Elias screamed back. "That cargo is everything. It's my future, my family's security, everything I've worked for." Tobias looked at him with eyes full of compassion and said words that would echo in Elias's heart forever. "Master Elias, what good is treasure if you're not alive to enjoy it? Trust God with your future, or you won't have one." In that moment, as another massive wave nearly capsized his ship, something broke inside Elias, not his spirit, but his pride. He realized that he had been holding on so tightly to what he could see that he had forgotten to trust in what he could unsee. God's plan, God's protection, God's wisdom. With tears streaming down his face, mixing with the rain, Elias fell to his knees on the deck. "Forgive me, Lord," he cried out. "I thought I knew better. I thought I could control everything, but I can't. I surrender it all to you, my cargo, my plans, my life, everything. I trust you, God. Whatever you will, let it be done." Then, with trembling hands, Elias gave the order. "Release the cargo. Throw it all overboard." One by one, the precious goods were cast into the sea. The silks, the spices, the gold, everything Elias had worked for disappeared into the hungry waves. With each item that sank beneath the surface, Elias felt something unexpected. Not loss, but freedom. The ship grew lighter, and so did his heart. And then, something miraculous happened. As the last of the cargo disappeared, the storm began to ease. The wind died down to a whisper. The waves settled into gentle swells. The dark clouds parted, and a single beam of sunlight broke through, illuminating the exhausted crew on the lightened ship. The ship limped into a small coastal town, damaged but afloat. Every man aboard was alive. They had lost everything material, but they had gained something far more valuable. As they rested in that small town, Elias sat with Tobias, watching the sunset over the calm sea. "I lost everything," Elias said quietly. Tobias shook his head. "No, Master Elias, you lost only things, you gained wisdom. You learned to trust God rather than your own understanding." Elias nodded slowly. "All my life, I thought control was strength. But true strength is surrender. True wisdom is trusting in God's plan, even when I can't see it." "Yes," Tobias smiled. Proverbs tells us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight." But God's story for Elias wasn't finished. In that small coastal town, Elias met a group of merchants who had heard of his reputation. When they learned of his misfortune, they were moved by his humility and his faith. They offered him a partnership, a new beginning built not on pride, but on trust in God. Moreover, Elias learned that the distant kingdom he had been traveling to had fallen to war just days after he would have arrived. If he had completed his journey as planned, he would have lost not just his cargo, but possibly his life. God had protected him through the very storm he thought was his destruction. Elias returned home a changed man. He rebuilt his business, but this time with a different foundation. Instead of starting each day calculating profits, he started each day in prayer. Instead of trusting only in his own wisdom, he sought God's guidance. Instead of holding his possessions with clenched fists, he held them with open hands, knowing that everything belongs to God. He taught his children not just how to count coins, but how to count their blessings. He taught them that planning is good, but trusting God is better. That wisdom is valuable, but faith is priceless. Years later, when people asked Elias about the secret to his success, he would tell them about the storm. He would tell them about the cargo he lost and the faith he gained. And he would always end with these words, "I spent years trying to control my life, and I was miserable. Now I trust God with my life, and I am free." Dear friends, like Elias, many of us struggle with control. We make our plans, calculate our risks, and try to secure our futures through our own strength and wisdom. And while planning and wisdom are good things, they become dangerous when we trust in them more than we trust in God. The Bible tells us in Jeremiah chapter 17, "Cursed is the one who trusts in man, who draws strength from mere flesh, and whose heart turns away from the Lord. But blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him." Trusting God doesn't mean we don't plan or work hard. It means we hold our plans loosely, knowing that God's ways are higher than our ways. It means we're willing to throw our cargo overboard when God asks us to. It means we believe that even when we can't see the path ahead, God can, and He is good. What cargo are you holding on to today? What plans are you clutching so tightly that you've forgotten to ask God if they are His plans for you? What storms are you trying to navigate in your own strength when God is inviting you to trust Him? The most beautiful truth of this fable is that Elias's surrender didn't lead to his destruction. It led to his salvation. When we truly trust God, we discover that He is trustworthy. When we let go of control, we find that He has been in control all along. And when we surrender our plans to Him, we often discover that His plans for us are better than anything we could have imagined. Remember, God doesn't need our perfection. He doesn't need our control. He simply asks for our trust. And when we give Him that, He gives us peace that surpasses understanding, even in the middle of life's fiercest storms. Thank you for joining me today for this felt story of faith. May you find the courage to trust God with your whole heart, to surrender your plans to His will, and to discover the freedom that comes from knowing that your life is in the hands of a loving, all-knowing, all-powerful Father. Until next time, keep your faith strong, your heart open, and your trust firmly placed in God. God bless you.